there's a reason your teacher taught you completing the square. The best use of completing the square is not to solve for a quadratic equation. The best use of completing the square is to simplify an equation like this. In this equation, we have a circle, but it doesn't look like the general equation of a circle that most of us are familiar with. This is in our general form. To go ahead and put this into the standard form of a circle, we're going to need to complete the square. Not once, but twice. That is why knowing the process of completing the square can be your best friend. So before we get to completing the square, the first thing we want to do is organize the x's with the x's and the y's with the y's and get that little 3 over there. Okay, so now you can see that I even had a little trouble myself, but I just rearranged things, right? The x's with the x's, the y's with the y's. And the reason why is because we need to create a binomial squared with our x's as well as with our y's. And then whatever we do on one side, remember you have to do on the other side. Now, the whole idea of completing the square is creating a perfect square trinomial. And if you remember, like perfect square trinomials are very, very helpful. If I have x squared plus 2x plus 1, that can be factored down into an x plus 1 quantity squared. That's what we're looking for in the equation of a circle. We need to have a binomial squared. So it's all about that third term. If you have the first two terms of a quadratic, you can always create a perfect square trinomial out of that. What is the secret sauce? The secret sauce is C. That all you simply need to do to create a perfect square trinomial is take b divided by 2 and square it. So b, in this case, is going to be the middle term of your linear term. So let's go and identify what that's going to be. 8 divided by 2 is going to be 4. 4 squared is 16. What am I doing? Still have the 8x, and then I'm going to add a 16. Then over here, I have a 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 squared is going to be a 36. Okay, so remember though, I said it, but I didn't do it yet. And sometimes this can be tricky because if you don't do it, sometimes when you need to, you'll forget. But I'm a seasoned professional, ladies and gentlemen, so I don't make any mistakes. But I wanted to have an opportunity where I could talk my way through it. I added a 16 to the left side of the equation. If you add a 16 to the left side of the equation, you have to add a 16 to the right side of the equation. I added a 36 to the left side of the equation. If you add a 36 to the left side of the equation, you have to add a 36 to the right side of the equation. Now I have two perfect square trinomials. All perfect square trinomials can be factored down into binomial squared. So what is the exact same number that I can multiply to give me 16 and add to give me 8? That's going to be 4. What is the exact same number that can multiply to give me a 36 that's going to add to give me a 12? 6. Okay. And now we just have to add all those up. Well, I know negative 3 plus 16 is going to be 13. 13 plus 36 is going to be a 49. Now I have this in the standard form of my circle. And if you want to find the center and the radius of that, remember what your standard form of your circle represents. So remember that h and k represent the center of your circle, and r squared, or r, represents your radius. So in this case, you can see, notice it's opposite of h, opposite of k. So in this case, I can say that my center is going to be a negative 4, negative 6, and my radius is not 49 because 49 is equal to r squared. The square root of 49 is going to be 7.